in my case, there are some things that I should have done, or I should have advanced in the relationship, and I did everything for granted. Like, no, it's educated and you know what to do. But I realized later I should have said it because I knew what to do. I knew what to do. Especially when it comes to finances, you need to be very frank in what you believe in. Don't let that emotional love stop you from saying what is from your heart. I think this is the thing that we must teach our children. When a person comes and says, I want to build a family with you, you lay the foundation. My dream is that I need to do this and this and this and this in life. And you might find that your dream is not his dream. And if you don't advance it in time, it may be a hindrance in your dream. And you can't be a good interview. Now to go on the side of me. So you need to, when you talk, lay your foundation very well. This is my dream. As I grew up, I wanted to be like this. I'm on my way of being this. So when I'm like this, it means that I'll do this and this and this. I'll work like this, I'll work at this, in this and this environment. If you want to further your studies, you must know that part of your money will be paying school fees. That's the case at home. From the pastor. Hey, a lady wanted to further her studies because her career, there are certain careers you go to study all the time. Otherwise, you won't be progressing with the current developments. But the husband, to him, was a threat that this lady is getting educated too much. But he didn't say it, but it showed up by the behavior and the way he talked. No, you're wasting money. Why? It's enough. Your education is enough. So when you meet a person, let our children know how to, they must learn to negotiate their way out. Yes. You don't just agree because you love the person. No. When that emotional love subsides, reality comes in. Yes.
And I hear what you're saying about that complete intimacy.
Yes.
There are times when you can agree that every marriage things change. This is where sometimes it's important to understand that God should have the foundation. And by things change, I mean, if you came to a marriage saying that I'm going to study, or I'm going to be a career, I'm going to study careers, and come to that marriage and make those expectations to your husband, and maybe you are not able to go outside studying and he gets retrenched from work. That is out of his control. And whereas you've made an agreement, how do you prevent that type of situation to get you from the kind of miscommunication and fighting that leads to the situation of things not going your way? So sometimes expectations and certain agreements can be a barrier to meeting the marriage.
But before we get to those hindrances in life, hindrances are there. Yes, they're there. Before you go to any hindrances, you sort out your foundation first. That's why I'm still there. Sort out your foundation. Don't hide your dreams. We normally see it in when I say the time we're living in, it's a time of advanced knowledge. Everyone wants to be knowledgeable, yes. But when you don't put your things straight, isn't that you love your partner? Yeah, you tell him or her. It applies even to the husband. You tell him, no, where I am, I'm not finished. I'm just giving an example of studies. So I'm not finished. I need to go further. Now the person knows that when it comes to finances, part of your finances, because some of our expectations are not realistic. We use the traditional way of sharing in the house. We see no, all the responsibilities must be on the men, which is not real. That was the approach that was good during those times, during the times of not even us, if our mothers, grandmothers. By the time we're living in, you share in everything because things are expensive. If you put the whole burden upon the husband or the man, sooner or later you will know who he is. And men are not like women. They don't have that yeah, no, it's the nature. We can't blame them. Monafla pressure in the house, he goes outside. Going outside, he may not be meeting other women. No, to be with other men so that when they talk, they are releasing their stress. Men are like this. They are just social beings of some sort. They are not really. Now the problem is that when he goes outside to seek a relief, what happens? You see? You, the woman, you start thinking bad things about him. And when that is not even yet there. No. You just he needs fresh air. Isn't that they don't talk? That's the problem. If you find a talkative husband, you're fortunate. They don't talk. And you're blessed. Very blessed. Isn't that what we're being real here?
Yeah.
Hey, our fathers were like that. And our husbands are like, they don't talk. So if you find him being quiet, you work out that he must ultimately be able to voice out his ideas, voice out whatever is troubling him. But it will take time. It takes God, because you can't change it. But through prayers, as you're engaging him, asking him questions, to let him get out of that cage. They don't talk because they don't want but now that's what they are. That's what their lives are. That's why sometimes when you talk too much, if you're a woman, you will just keep what you're doing. And you think that is being fun. No. They are lazy. Is it
different now? The marriage of before and the marriage of now is different now. I want to ask about like our mothers, they were housewives. They wanted the men to take care of the work, wife in the house. But now it's like we are, everyone is ready. And then we are having a problem like in the relationship, like whereby I'm doing a lot more than my husband. Like my husband, if I make up, I make the shower for the bath. I prepare the food. Everything. He goes to work. I drop the things. I fetch them. I go to work on top of that. I come back. I still need to clean before I sleep. I need to bath it. It's like it's so. I don't know. Too much.
Get everything. You can't even wash the dishes or do whatever. Everything must come while you are sitting. I mean,
Much as well as there are even women the water for me to bath.
no, that's one. That one is not good. I think in a home, especially when you are still young, raising children, you share the responsibility. When the other one is there, the other one is doing the job. Even in anything, except some things that you cannot do as a man. There are some certain duties I as a man I cannot do. But where I can be involved, let me be involved.
Like what?
Like-
That they- what can
like washing the dishes. You know, washing the dishes. I mean, let's take example. If the kids are still young as this one, while the mother is still nursing, I must do something. Understand? I cannot expect the mother must nurse the child. After that, maybe that child is nagging. It takes time to sleep. Then after the child has slept, after 3 hours, I expect that poor woman to go and stand beside the stove and begin to cook for me. I mean, by that time I'm watching TV, reading newspapers. The poor woman is just doing. I mean, come on, guys. Come on. That's not fair sometimes.
Yeah, I think it's a tough one because a home should be a place where both of you have responsibilities and all of that. And I don't know whether the husband sees that you are doing a lot. We don't know whether he sees. We don't know whether you communicate it to him. And even if you're communicating it to him, how are you communicating it to him? Because you see, with a man, respect, it's not only in how you act, it's in how you speak. You understand? So if every time it's gonna be hard for him to hear you. You understand? Maybe it's best to sit him down, and you mustn't be tired. You must not get tired of doing it. You must do it again and again and again. Gently speak to him and say, Bona, I'm not copying because of what you're doing. And be specific. As guys, we are good at concentrating on one thing at a time. Like we can't multitask. So maybe ask him, baby, can you do 1, 2, 3 for me? And ask him nicely. You see, when a man feels respected and when they feel like you are vulnerable, they will come in. But then when they see that, oh, when you are strong, and even in the way you speak, you are strong and you can handle it, come help me. You don't command respect. It's the man who commands respect, and you must give him that respect. And that's when he will come down and try to assist. You understand? And yeah, it takes time. Like it's a build-up. It takes time. It mustn't be rushed. And also background plays a role, as I said. Maybe when he grew up, he didn't have any responsibilities like that. He just went and did some things. You understand? So you must try to understand the kind of person that he is and try to speak with him with respect and with love and do it again and again and again. Then you will see results. Instead of always complaining and all of that. So, and God sees you, understand? And I don't think he doesn't want to help. It's just that maybe he feels like, if Katusa, what's wrong because of this and this and that. Like us men, you gotta sometimes encourage us. When you see him, you're listening to this movie. When you see him doing something that you've actually you've been wanting him to do 1, 2, 3, and you see him, even if it's a small thing, say, well done, thank you, baby. Don't say, it's all you do. Is that all you do? You understand? Is that all? I'm doing 1, 2, 3. When he sees you, you're doing too much, and he takes the baby, say thank you. It builds his confidence to do it more and more, instead of complaining more. You understand?
You know what makes us to complain is sometimes when you have an agreement, okay, you are starting from the room, I'm starting from the kitchen. There is that sometimes the reaction of a man, like now he's angry, he's doing everything is wrong. Like you see, you were supposed to clean here yesterday. These things you must touch up every day. You see that kind of complaining all the time. Me sometimes I get angry and always say, you know what, if you don't want, just leave it. Because sometimes when we are doing things together, it's like he's complaining over and over and over. Like a mistake happens, he complains. So I don't know that one. I don't understand it because it's really causing a very serious problem. I'm talking about me, something that I'm facing in my marriage, about this part of the house. Because I'm seeing like I'm doing a lot. Going to work with the kids, it's a lot of work. So sometimes I understand I was working the whole day, but when you finish to eat, just take it's one, it's both of us, two of us. You take yours, you put them. I take mine.
You mean washing the plate after cleaning your dirty after you?
Say, excuse me.
It's a big trouble. Yes. In every home. Yes.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
This is the situation that we are having. Like, I said it to everyone. Like, us women, it's like it's different with the previous housewife. You know what? Housewife for our mothers. Men, they go to work, they bring.
The mothers stay at home.
Our job is to clean, to look after the kids.
All right.
Now,
I'm sorry. May the Lord bless you. I've heard your case. I know where it's going. Hallelujah. Looking at it, some women says today, I also bring. So we are the same, 50-50. We are talking about 50-50 relationship. When we talk about that, it's not in the scripture at all. It's never there. It's never there. We are creating those constitutions for ourselves. We are talking about women liberation. Women should be set free. People say women have been enslaved. So they need their freedom. Most especially when woman is working, as the husband is working, bringing salary, women want to stand now. And they want to share the duty in the kitchen. I'm telling you, this duty you are talking about, you can't force it on your husband. If I tell you what I do in my house, you practice in your house, it's going to destroy your house. This duty must be based on agreement. You understand me now? If your husband does not agree to wash plate with you, wash it and enjoy that plate, wash it. Celebrate it and wash it. Are you getting me? I'm telling you, if I bring that principle how I operate in my house and say learn it, or you borrow it from your friend, you will destroy your marriage. Your friend will still be in a marriage. Not every man want to go to kitchen. Every man have it here. I'm telling you that if you work with your wife in the kitchen, you are like a slave. You are a dumb. Like your wife have used muti on you. You understand me? A lot of things will be running. That's how it is. And the Bible says man is the head of the house. You understand me now? You don't find the head of the house in the kitchen. Are you hearing me now? Head we want to sit in the living room and cross their feet, watching the TV, watching soccer. Food must come to them. That is how we are all brought up. Are you hearing me now? But when it comes to a person or a relationship that is actually founded by God, are you hearing me now? That is founded by God, that God is the head of that family, is a different thing. In 2003, I was in this trouble. I will share my story with you. This 2003, I invited my brother-in-law to South Africa. I invited my brother-in-law. When this brother got married to my sister, I wasn't there. Are you hearing me now? But I began to play along. When I went home, he says to me, I want to come to South Africa. And I said, okay, why not? Come. He came. Then I was into business of selling the hairpins, the jewelry. We used to go buy it in France. He knows me very well. We were selling it. We bought a car. We were going to villages to sell those things. I was selling. My wife was selling. Are you hearing me now? So I brought my mother and my brother-in-law to the same house. I paid the ticket, paid everything, just to learn what I'm doing so that he can also raise his family. We woke up one morning. This is my house. I sweep. I assist my wife in the kitchen. We do this together based on agreement. It's our decision. She didn't force it on me, but I've seen that there is a need because we are having only one boy then, Victor. So when we wake up in the morning, I will be looking after Victor, watching Victor partying here in the bath. Remove pampers, do all those things. My wife is busy cooking because we have to pack our lunch, put it inside the car. We go different villages like that to sell. My brother-in-law woke up, he saw me do that. He wasn't at rest. You know, he was going up and down, as looking at me, cleaning the baby. The following day, he saw me doing the same thing. He can't go. He said, can I borrow 50 rand from you? And I said, for what? He said, he want to use it. And I borrowed it. I lent him 50 rand. He bought airtime and he called my mom from home that your son is mad. I'm telling you the story. This is a life story. He said, your son is mad. The wife has used muti for him. He washed pampers, he's watching. He's watching his wife band, and it was he's a lot of things. From my own money that he borrowed from me. So my mom called me and said, check it easy, this is what this person said, but don't react to it. I know you. I couldn't call. I said, no. How dare you? You borrowed money from me. You are eating my food and you are reporting me to my mom. You understand me now? What he's saying is genuine. The place where we came from, our mother has to work. She has to do cooking, washing, do everything. So what he saw me doing is strange. So he was trying to help that this boy, before he become mad, let me say him. So that whether my mom would do some prayer over there to send me from the charm or whatever. That is his way out. But I couldn't go. I looked at him and I called him. We went to a park and I began to tell him what he did. He said, no, even though if your mom told you what you are doing, you know, anyone who has ate a vegetable that is meat with charm will not understand. And I see that person in you. Because everything he's saying, I was siding my wife. I said, we are working together, we bring money home. I can't just wait until he finished this, I don't have the time. He doesn't take it. As God we have it. 2 years, he saved money, he brought his own wife, which is my sister now. He brought his own wife. His wife is now my sister. They rented their own apartment, they were living there. The wife was pregnant. And he was having some complication in the hospital, which they have the medical record. So I went to visit them. I met him sweeping the floor. I said, hey! Sham is watching. He didn't get me. I said, this Sham is, wow! I just want him to realize. He came to me, he said, Wisha, I'm sorry for what I've done to you. I see my wife dying, she's bleeding. And the house is dirty, I can't stay without cleaning it. I said, this is exactly what I've told you that time. This is it. The way my father treats my mother, it is between them. That is what they agree on. That is their time. Those days, most men marry women as a slave. They marry 2, 3. They use them in the farm. They do whatever they want to do with women. No one will say. Most especially when they are paid the lobola, it's like they bought that woman. And you hardly see them going around with their wife. Today, you want your wife to be beautiful as you are. You must look after your wife. This must be an agreement between you and your wife. If I wash plates in the house for my wife, it is for a reason. My wife must not look at it as my husband is washing plate for me. And he began to tell you, no, she's weak. Whatever we do in the house, it must be based on agreement of helping one another. Are you hearing me now? Some will take it, some will not take it. But when it comes to home, women must not begin to say, nah, the housework here we share it. He does his own, I have to do my own. It is not the good saying. It is never biblical. If you look at the book of Timothy, the Bible says, a good woman, do what? He iron the clothes, he does all this, he prepare food for the husband. He does all those things. He never say a good man iron clothes for the wife, wash for the wife. You can't turn the Bible upside down. So when we do that, it is based on a mutual agreement. I just love my wife. What can I assist you with? You understand? What can I do? What can we do? Let's do this. Let's do this. It's based on agreement, and that is love. So what goes around in your house, it may not work for another person's house. So when you are talking that time, Mama, if your husband doesn't like going to kitchen, watching plates, it's not that he's wicked. And if he does it, appreciate him. You understand? There's a way you can appreciate a man that will do all the housework for you. I'm telling you. But there is a man you can say, don't you think you need to wash that plate? Who is your mate? Who is your slave here? Who will wash plate? You are telling your husband like that, he won't wash it. I'm telling you, the man will not wash it. How can you tell your husband, you ate and you never wash the plate? That's it. It depends on how you pass your message. And this can only happen when there is a good relationship between you and your husband. I've seen a situation about where a couple are not having good relationship. Husband cook, the wife cook. Everybody wash their plate. That's the rule. Is that a good relationship? Husband cook his own food, he washes his plate, and the wife cook his own food, our own food, and they wash the plate. All they want to make sure is that wherever I use in the house, I take care of it. That is not a good relationship. Are you hearing me now? So it is not what we can do, or if we advise you to go and do the way we do it, it may not work. But if there is love and a good relationship, you can talk to your husband and he will reason. You are the one who went to work, you do everything, you clean, you cook, you make sure you iron his clothes, and in the night he's demanding for sex, and you say you are tired, and he doesn't know the reason why you are tired. It's a wicked man. Are you ready now? Only you do the whole work. And in the night he says, I want to have sex now. And you say you are tired and they can't reason. No. If he knows he wants to meet you halfway, he must ease the burden as well. So that when the man is now demanding for what he wants, you will be able to say, no, I've got something. If you are tired, we are both tired because we do the work together. You will not even say the woman, they won't say she's tired. Because she knows this man actually does his own part. Hallelujah. We are actually talking, before I left here, we're talking about unhappy marriage. Is that what we are still discussing?
I think she's got a question.
Yes.
No, I've got a question, but then I was not here before.
Yes.
I wanted to ask about what Pastor Angel actually was talking about. I want to know just a general question. What is my role as a woman in the marriage? As a helper? What is the role of a husband as a leader? Because Pastor Angela mentioned to say, I must help her, let's say maybe for 30 years. What is his role? Because now it seems as if, like normally when we get married, normally they will take us Magoti and teach us how to behave.
Yes,
but then
the
they
marriage.
will take the men to teach them as leaders what is expected from them. And I want it from a biblical perspective. What is the role of a man as a leader? What is my role as a helper? Actually, what is God is expecting from me as a helper?
Hallelujah. You want to say something? Yes.
It's just unfortunate that I won't say, let me blame the devil. That in churches, in our churches, not in Saving Grace only, all the churches, most of them, you see women most of it. And then men are drawn back. You know, any man will lose his vision or his mission or his calling, not in calling in terms of ministry,
Yes.
when he doesn't have God. Because any man that serves under the umbrella of God will understand who he is, number one. The thing is not about being a husband. I was a husband, he was a husband, he was somebody before he became a husband. Number one, we are a child of God. And that applies to all women also. Before I'm a wife to somebody, number one, I'm a child of God. I must have a relationship with my King, my God. Then if you know who you are in Christ Jesus, you will be able to identify your responsibilities as a husband in the marriage. You will have the skills of leadership because a man has to lead Not that you must drag you into things. Being a leader, there's a difference between a manager and a boss. A manager, sits down, we discuss things. Let me hear from you. What do you think when it comes to this thing? We've got money. What do you think about investment? Do you think it's a good time for us to have the child or another child? We're sitting down, we are managing. It's not only spiritually, it's not only financially, but in spiritually also. We sit down, we pray together. But men has lost that, unfortunately. Where are our husbands? They're drinking, they're what. Those who've got husbands here, appreciate your husbands.
That's an advice. It's a good
and
advice.
treat them well. Treat them well. Treat them well. Treat them well. If you understand who you are. So unfortunately our husbands, they don't know. That's why they are just they are sitting there in the tavern or whatever, society, whatever. This one tells you how to treat the wife. This one tells you how to treat the wife. And then, they just become confused, because they don't know what to do exactly. Me, when I get home, I don't show my wife how much I earn. Mustn't do that. As long as you've got 12.5 of a millimeter, that's it. Of which is bad. How can, because being a leader, you need money, you need finances. There's no way you can, let's say a business, even the household needs money. So, and you cannot discuss things when you yourself don't have money. You cannot contribute. Who's going to contribute? Because you have to lead me by example that this is what we have, Mama. This is what we have, my wife. What do you think? Such things. And I think a man that is truly led by God will never, I don't say that at least your challenges will never be the same, won't be the same as somebody who just does his own thing, because sometimes it becomes a conflict. You are a child of God as a wife, your husband is somebody else, so there's always a clash. And then what happens as you are a woman of God, because you know that I have to, I think it's book of Philippians chapter 2, he said, you have to, just paraphrasing, treat another more importantly than yourself. If you can have that verse, then we are done. But the same thing is that sometimes I personally suppress certain things because I know if I burst, I have to go outside. Holy Spirit, give me calmness, because I don't want to burst. I want to be led by the Holy Spirit, because if I'm just going to be in flesh and it's in flesh, flames are just going to come out. Just give your space that time. If you feel like I'm angry now, I'm angry. Just take a walk, put your hijab, a tracksuit, your tight, take a walk and
May the Lord bless you. Is there anyone who wants to say something about that as well? Hallelujah. Let me come in when it comes to that area. Most of the times in our relationship, the foundation is the problem. When we get into a relationship and we don't have a foundation that is solid in Christ, we build on it, and when we get to that place where we thought we should be relaxing and continue. When it comes to the role of the man in the house, every man knows that he is a provider. Every man knows he's a provider. Even right from dating. You are dating a boyfriend, unless you want to buy your man. No one date and began to say the lady is the one giving you money. You understand me now? No, it's the lady who always presents my list of to do, and the man must supply. And when the man supply, we begin to look at that man that no, this is going to be my husband, because whatever I ask him to do, he's doing. And this is how we pick up genuineness in relationship, that no, this one. You can't say to a lady and say, choose between this one. And maybe she brought two men to you and said, I have this man, he always provides my need, this one doesn't give anything. As a friend, you will say, no, the one who supply your need is the one who I will advise you, because don't go and marry the one who is poor. Are you hearing me now? But in a situation whereby the love has set in and we began to relate and it's turning to marriage, it depends on how we start it. if you are a wife who has been giving right from the day one, or you have been helping out, or maybe God has raised your hand more than your husband. Are you hearing me now? Right from the beginning. You are being the one who do the shopping. You are being the one who is buying the singlet for him, buying everything for him. Are you getting me now? It is very difficult to take it out of that man. Even when he has. Not they are not spending somewhere else, they will be spending, but they allow you to do it. Most men does it intentionally, like making the woman to suffer. I've handled many cases. Most men will say, you are the one doing, continue to do what you do. They're not ready to come back now and help the poor woman. You understand me now? So the area of the part of leadership now is shifted to that woman, because leadership or a husband role in the house is to supply all the needs. You understand? In relationship, if the husband is not doing such, so you see the wife carrying burdens, it becomes a load. Because what is the purpose of the wife working? Wife want to work and save their money. Is that not so? Is there any lady who does save? Yeah? Wife here in the house, you want to work and save the money. You don't want to use your house, your salary to buy the TV, whereby your husband is the one who's supposed to buy the TV. You don't want to use your salary to pay the rent, whereby is your husband work. Am I lying? So when that is not happening, there will be pain. It is either, if the husband is not doing it, coming back to assist, because you have been doing it before, the husband is not coming back to assist. Perhaps maybe it doesn't have this relationship with God. You understand me now? Feeling your pain. Not every man will feel the pains of the wife. Not every man. Not every man will feel the pains of the wife. What is that pain? Not sickness, but the load the wife carried. The load the wife carried. Marriage is all about bringing hands together to make, joining hands together to make things work. It mustn't be one-sided. But today, most of the marriage, 75% of marriage are one-sided. Because of what? Wrong foundation. If that man is not a Christian, people are Christian by coming to church, they can go to different denominations. Not all church talk about marriage. Pastor can wed people together without telling them what marriage is all about. You can even pay pastor for wedding, to come to your wedding. I hear they are charging 25,000, 10,000. They get the money done, they wed you. You are on your own. Are you hearing me now? Even if you are calling the pastor that there is a crash, you pay him again before he attend to that. So what in that situation, you are not learning anything from marriage. So a man who is godly man, let's put it that way. If a husband is a godly man, he knows that the responsibility of the house, of the wife and the children lies on his shoulder. He carries those burdens. You understand? He has to think ahead of the wife. The future, not the present food they need, not the house they are looking at, they are living. He has to, even husband is meant to invest for the future of the marriage, of the family. But when the husband is not doing those things, he knows that is either one, the wife, the way they started it, or the husband is not having God-fearing. I'm saying in a situation whereby the husband is working and money is coming in. Don't think they are not spending that money for something. They are spending it for something else. Are you hearing me now? They can be spending it for something else. And most especially, men are being controlled today by their friends. Check the friend of that man. Go and check their wife. Check out, it is the same thing. Don't give your wife too much money. Because if you give them too much money, they will do this. Don't treat your wife. Don't praise your wife in her presence, because she can mess up. All those things we hear, people say it in the beer parlor where they drink and all those things. It is not a Christian home. You understand me now? But the Bible says in the book of 1 Corinthians 7, it said, have you married to an unbeliever? That's what it says. Because you are a believer, you are born again, the husband become clean. Why? Yeah? They are. So because you are married unbeliever, the unbeliever is you who married the unbeliever, isn't it? We get into marriage at times thinking that, oh, don't worry, I'll marry this person. Both of you may not be a believer, but along the line you become a born again. The husband is not born again. It's still the same thing. But maybe you are a believer before you get married, and you are thinking Don't worry, I will turn him to church. He will give his life. What if those things doesn't happen? Perhaps we are there presently. We have to put it in prayer because God says, do not divorce. Do not separate from that person. You understand? By the virtue of you being clean, the husband is clean. What are we going to do? We began to pray and began to check on the friends the husband is keeping. You understand me now? You began to check on the friends, and if you put that into your heart too much, it can become a sickness to you because it's like nobody is hearing you out. You are in pain. You understand me now? It becomes an unhappy marriage because one side is happy, another side is not happy. You understand me now? It becomes, I want to come out of this marriage. I want to, I prayed. The prayer is not working. I don't need, there's no reason to pray anymore. What prayer does is to change you first. Prayer does not change the person we are praying for. It changes us first. And how does it change you? It gives you other reason. You understand me now? It began to add value to you and add value to the one you are praying to, that if God has changed me, I was actually worse than this. If God changed me, He's going to change this man. And that period is what we don't know. But stay there and begin to pray. Hallelujah. Did I answer your question? Men's position in the house is to supply the need of that house. The salary of a woman is as a helping maid to help out in some things. But let's go to the part of the woman as well. Women at times today, they are earning, their husband is earning money. Even some are earning more salary than their husband. But they are not ready to add to that husband. It's wickedness, especially Christian. If you see that you have a salary, your husband is actually supply all your need, and you see a need that you need to do in the house, do it without tools. We need to support our husband with the little we are having. You understand me now? We need to support just a little. Okay, fine. I'm supporting this. This is what I want to do. Let me take this as you are taking that. It's also about love. You understand me now? It's also about love. I want to bring a scenario here. There was a situation that happened some time ago. It is because of love. This couple, they agreed because of love. Take note of this, because of love. The two couple agreed that, okay, husband said to the wife, I will pay the bond. Give the bond to me, and the school fees of the children I will be taking. You look after the food. Is that not good? How much is food per month? Highest maybe 2,000. The husband is popping out about 10,000 with the bond and the school children. He's doing that. But along the line, maybe 6 years, there is a trouble now. There's this mistress that was actually in the life of the husband now. And the husband gave the wife a letter of separation that this is it, we have to separate. And this separation is leading to divorce. And the husband was claiming the house that I've been paying. The husband is said, I am the owner of the house. The wife is the owner of the food. Where are those food? Where are those food? The toilet. That's what the man says. Say, get your food in the toilet. How owns this house? And the traces of everything is the husband who owns the house. Are we going to say that woman is stupid? What makes them agree? Love. When the things were going well, they agree. He's my husband. Whatever he has is what I have. The children, everything. But look at this woman said, the family of my husband are coming home to eat and never complain. He said the husband is not this size when I met. Now look at him. He has ate my food. Did you see? So the husband has popped off big. And it's the food of the wife that makes the husband to get up to that level. But look at the house. It belongs to the husband. The wife has nothing. So what are we saying? When it comes to the issue of love, we must be very careful. Make sure that God is the head of your family. If there is a fear of God, that man will not do that. But when there is no fear of God, it's just love. Love, it can change anytime. Love can be shifted. I was loving him. Now into another. So the love can be shifted. So as a Christian, we need to be careful. Every day is full of trouble. So we must look at the trouble we are getting into. But what we need most in the family is God. The part of sex is hardly been discussed in places. But these are one of the major problems that destroyed marriage, that caused unhappy in marriage. I throw this question to you. Can sex cause unhappy in marriage? That's the question. Oh, sorry, you didn't get the question. All right. Denying of sex, can it cause problem in marriage? If yes, how? Let's speak out. These people are saints. I've seen a situation, let me bust it out. I've seen a situation whereby husband and wife, when the husband, I was asking this particular lady, he said, I know when my husband wants to have sex with me. And I said, how do you know? He said, my husband will take me out and buy something for me. I'm hearing whispering. Speak louder. Don't whisper. He said the husband will take her out and do some shopping. The shopping doesn't just come anyhow. When there is a shopping is vision.
The question would be, how often does he do that?
Yes.
In a week.
Yes.
How often?
So as much as he once says, he will shop. He needs to buy something. Right? You are saying something.
Yes, based on what you are saying, I wanted to. So, is it only sex is depending on gifts, or what is supposed to be happening? Like
you are talking about the timetable for sex in marriage.
Yes.
Timetable.
No, not timetable.
All right. What are you saying?
Pastor.
All right.
It's not about timetable. I wonder. It's about like what you're saying, that the wife was saying, whenever my husband wants to have sex, he buy gifts. So I wanted to know, like, is it based on gifts, that side, or is it something that we have to do, like...
I'm opening up a house, another family situation.
All right.
It's another scenario. And I questioned this family. I said, why is it that he couldn't come straight and have sex? It could be you who has put price. Women don't lie here. You may not put your price as in shopping. Women put price here. Hold on, Mama, I'm coming. Some women, if their husband does not hand it, they don't give. The husband must be in your good record before he can approach you for sex. Yeah? I'm lying. Yeah? Yeah? Your record is not clean and you are coming. You turn this way, they turn this way. You turn, they turn this way. You need to clean your record. Your status. The file.
What record is not clean?
Hallelujah. I will tell you about the record. The record that are not clean is that throughout the day you are not talking to them.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
I'm talking. You know how many people have coached when it comes to marriage? Throughout the day, no conversation from
no
you.
Conversation, no nothing.
Mama, God bless you.
Even somebody, when you get home,
They look down on you.
To tell you, I love you.
The
whole week, you don't know whether the person still loves you or not. You look
Now
at
it's coming from where? What part of the stranger are you?
Yeah, what is
all right, let's talk about it. You are saying something? Somebody raised hand up there. Somebody was, yes, I want to hear you.
No, I want to
Yes, let's hear you. Let's hear you. This is what we are here for. Let's hear you.
No, I wanted to say, when you say that this husband is to buy something,
yes.
So I'm saying that it means the wife is so difficult. Difficult in other words, that she needs a bribe. She needs to be bribed for, in order
to give herself to.
Yes, he has to earn it. So coming to Mama Time,
this is our own opinion.
Nobody is telling you.
Good morning, honey, I love you.
I'm asking, why don't
you look beautiful, nothing like that?
Why no, I don't do it.
Yeah?
Why do you have to wait to be told?
You do it and you get tired.
Mama, can I say, no, calm down, we are in the same page now. Calm down. You know, the Bible talk about sex. The same book of 1 Corinthians 7. He said, do not your body belong to your husband? Your husband's body belongs to you. Meaning you have no power over your own body. That's your body. This body belongs to my wife. My wife's body belongs to me. That is God direction. Are you hearing me now? So because it belongs to me, somebody is still denying me of this body. That's what we are talking about now. I'm coming. I know everybody's going to speak out. Now, that's what we're here for. Now, you are hungry. This man has provoked you. And he never says sorry. And he's coming in the night. Oni, which Oni do you get? Are you hearing me now? So, now, look at it. Let's go back to the one I first put on the table. The one who the husband has to go and buy something and say, take mama, before any sex happens. Who is at fault here? What can we say that causes these things? What do you think makes them to arrive in that situation? Yeah? What can make one to buy something for the wife? Is it the wife demanding for it, or the husband is the one who's just bribing the wife?
You know, Pastor, I had this and I read my work.
Okay.
This white guy was telling me, he's always complaining that, my husband, my wife doesn't want to sleep with me. Every time before I have to sleep with him, I must do something. If I don't do something, we can even stay more than a year without getting anything. I said, so what are you doing? He said, no. Now I've decided that if he doesn't, and there was, but and I don't know how he is, because he told me now he buy outside now because of now he can't. I said, and I was wondering.
Says outside?
Yes, I was wondering how are you buying, because of the husband was checking him. Every second, Pastor, the phone is ringing. Every minute, every second, the wife is calling, checking up on him, whether he's at work, whether he's in the office. Even if sometimes I drive with him, they will keep talking. But I said, how are you doing? Because of you are always talking.
They're deceiving themselves. So this is still the same thing. Whom are we going to say is at fault? You understand me now? Because some marriage, some wife, some husband are in their matrimonial house and they are still acting as a prostitute. When price is placed on sex, that is the right of the wife and the husband, that somebody has to pay ABCD before they get it. It's nothing but prostitution. I'm telling you, it's nothing but prostitution. You will say, but how will I have sex with a man who does not look after me? Who does not do ABCD? The only right I have is when he wants me, that I can claim what I want. Is that not what some will say? Yes.
Who said it's a duty of a man that he must always ask? Why don't they ask them? Why?
That's another question.
Why don't they ask them?
We are still going to that, sir. God bless you. We are still going to that. We are still going to that. If you are talking, speak louder. We are learning. Don't speak to.
I wanted to answer.
Why is the wife not demanding for sex as the husband demands for sex?
There's always husband now going to the wife.
Yes. Why is the wife not asking?
Go to the husband.
It's something, excuse me, it's
Yes.
something that I noticed, like when us women, we go to the men, there is that reaction that guys they do, our husband they do, like
They take you for granted.
like we want it more than them, so we just take them.
You know, can I say, I'm coming, Mama. I'm going to take your question. You know, may the Lord bless you all. You know, most of these things we are discussing here today, many pays a lot of money when the trouble is now in, looking for a counselor to solve the problem. You understand? Whereas we rather discuss it as we are discussing here. Husband and wife should sit down and discuss the same issue at all, but they wouldn't talk about it. Are you hearing me? They wouldn't talk about it. You understand me now? So if we don't talk about it, we are piling up troubles. We are piling up trouble. Men and women needed sex, most especially the married couple. Apart from you are enjoying one another, is health is a perfect medication for the body. Are you hearing me now? I've read a lot of books relating to that. I've gone to the internet when I was reading concerning relationship and sex in marriage. It helps in prostate cancer, a lot of things. It can destroy cholesterol, it can destroy a lot of things. But without having it, a lot of things can happen. And you wouldn't have it if that marriage is unhappy. If there's a lot of many issues that are not discussed that we're supposed to discuss. Women will run away from their husband, not allow their husband to have sex if the husband is not looking after that woman. That's the situation of a woman. I'm lying. Women has that mentality. You can't just have, I'm not your sex, I know what. Yes. No, you understand me now? That's it. That's what women say. We men must look at it and see to the, no, I want to fight for what I want. It is not that the wife is not looking for sex, but wife might be shut down from issue of sex if the husband is not making the wife happy. The sex we are talking about is of mind. If an unhappy heart, you understand? If you are not happy with one another, the issue of sex will die. I'm telling you, it will die. If you are more, you like they call it libido or whatever they call it. If you are more active than your wife, and your wife is not happy, you will see that your wife is shut down when it comes to the issue of sex. You are actually looking for sex, but your wife never requested for it one day. And these are the reasons whereby the spiritual husband come into marriages. Are you ready? Instead of having sex with your wife or your husband, you begin to have it with another spirit now. Because why? You are bitter already. The heart is damaged, and it becomes an affliction now, whereby the devil is using that as a way. And when the devil gets ownership of that, he actually put you far away from your husband, not to be able to relate with your husband on bed anymore. So those are the things that people are experiencing. It's very common in the church. We pretend holy too much. We pretend holy. It's like, why is pastor talking about the sex in the church? What kind of a pastor is this? Are you hearing me now? You don't talk about it at all. And there's no one that gives you education about it. It can destroy the marriage. Many men and women, they will be fighting. They won't tell you the reason why they are fighting. Because they don't want to talk about sex. They will be crossing, they will be saying different things. He does this, he does this, he does this. But the major thing he does is not being said by anyone. Are you hearing me now? So not that the woman, I want to ask the woman, what denies women to ask for sex? Your question. What is the reason? She said part of it. Mama, you said something that the men take women for granted when they demanded for sex. So perhaps you would rather wait for him to ask for it than you ask for it. You don't want to follow it.
Come from one side, like a man must come to realize now. No, it doesn't have to do that further. It helps to start somewhere. Not, let's say like in the living room, I'm concentrating on the sofa. He's concentrating on his phone.
Yes.
Now in the bedroom, I make the kids to sleep. Now we are coming to touch. It's not some.
Are you hearing something there? He was busy doing WhatsApp proud.
Yes, and me, I was busy watching the soap.
But both of you are busy.
You know, it started with men, Pastor. It started with men.
So can he come and interrupt you from that soap?
We must have this chat. Like, how was your day? Where, God, you know, I experienced this communication. It doesn't have to start in the bedroom. Like, it doesn't have to start by sex. Touching, no. It has to start in the living room.
In the living room.
Yes, not in the bedroom.
So if he hasn't started in the living room, he must not, what is not planted in the living room cannot grow. No, I want you to know. All right, let's hear you. Please let everybody speak, please.
Okay, I think I understand what you're saying.
Yes.
From what I understand as well, a woman is an emotional creature, is an emotional being.
Of course.
Men are more physical.
Yes.
So maybe a man will understand that his wife loves him with physical affection, and a woman will an emotional putting into that physical affection. So to assist in understanding what she's saying is that perhaps it shouldn't just come with physical touching with no emotional build-up. And maybe
you need to start from somewhere.
yes, coach
Don't just start.
person into that situation.
I'm not a cat. You can just put a key and.
So we want to address that. How do you then deal with the differences of a woman needing to be built up emotionally
Yes.
before she can engage in physical affection, and a man who is just always ready in his physical state?
Hallelujah. You know, most men these days, they've been having children with their wife, 10, 5, 6 children, but they still don't understand their wife. Most of the time they approach their wife to have sex with them, it's like they force them. It looks as if they are forcing them. I pick it up things for what she says. You understand me now? It is not always sex. There's a lot of ways whereby you can get, I've seen a situation whereby, like she said now, seated there watching TV, meaning you're watching TV is because you are lonely. Some women get addicted to some program on the TV because their husband wouldn't talk to them. Are you hearing me now? Because the husband would not say a word. He will just be there looking. Are you hearing me now? But in a situation whereby you have understand that this is how your husband behaves, sit that husband down. Honey, you can't just be coming to me on the bed like this. Let's start from somewhere. Most women, they need romantic. You understand me? But your husband may not be somebody like that. If your husband doesn't have that, teach your husband. Are we not teachable? Sir? Teach your husband. I'm coming, Mama. I'm telling you, some things you keep it to yourself and you are burning. It's destroying you. Honey, I think we've married now for so long. It's not that I don't want you to have sex with me, but this is how you start it. If you touch or you teach him, and he's not taking it, no, this one is different. It's very difficult to correct. Are you ready? But you can't teach your husband what he needed to do, and he will not do it. But if you keep it to yourself, he will be destroying you the more. Because what a man wants, he just wants sex now. So men, he just have the sense that he pack his clothes, he's going. The woman can be very brutal, wicked man. Are you ready now? So, lot of situations like that. You got, as a couple, you need to understand what some men will have a sex with a woman. The woman want you to sleep beside her there and remain there. Some men want to go now. Whatever that is craving in his head is done. He just want to go. Some women hate it. But what is marriage? You become one. One must be able to share these things. Tell your wife, this is what I want. This is what I don't want. But when your wife put too much salt in the food, you say, how do you put too much salt in the food like this? Your food today is not sweet. You understand? So also when it comes to the bed affair, we should be able to discuss it within ourselves and explain, this is how I want it, this is what you are doing that I don't like. You want to say something? Yes. Let's allow this woman to talk. I'm going to get to you. Yes.
I think, yes, I agree with the one that we have to, there has to be a build up to it. It helps.
Yes.
Like maybe if we find out from each other, if we realize what this one likes and you do it. Like during the day,
that's
what is it that
yes.
your husband likes? Maybe you call or you send that maybe naughty message, just
yes.
to keep him, for him.
No, don't call it naughty message. I call it blessing message.
A blessing message.
You bless his heart.
Yes.
And you send a blessed message into his heart. You read it.
Yes.
Then that's it.
Something that will encourage him to, to
He want to
That's
quit
because
the
he
job
can't-
now. Come on.
Can't wait to get
That's
to
it.
the husband. Even
That's
the
it.
husband, the same thing. Like they will just. Sometimes it's even just simple things that when you call your husband, the way he will answer the phone, it's just something that I want to see my husband now.
No.
Like at work, they will be surprised. I say, I want to go. I want to go to my husband.
That's it.
Then,
That's
but
it.
you saw him, I'm like, yes, but I want to go to my husband now. So it's like just that build up that it helps. And I think if we can learn, like now from own experience, that sex is not, okay, but they call it a duty, but what is the duty to satisfy the other person? It's not only about you for you to get the satisfaction. If you know that it's to satisfy my wife, the wife also knows, okay, is to satisfy my husband. So sometimes you find that maybe what will cause the other one to be withdrawn is because that sex is work, sleep, done.
It's one-sided.
Yes, so then the other one lacks interest, the other one withdraws because this thing is now one side, there's no pleasure in it. But I think if you can learn that you are doing it for the other one also and the other, you are doing it for each other. Then also like to communicate, just to say to the person, maybe the man doesn't know that how can they arouse you, because as a woman we are different. The other one, when you touch the other one this way, they might not like it, but the other woman, when the husband touches that same way, they like it. So also to communicate to the husband to say, when you do this, I like it, I enjoy it.
That's
so
it.
When
You
do
speak out.
You speak out, you have that communication, then the husband will know, or even it goes both ways. So that communication is also important. So your question was, can a lack of sex or sex cause conflict in the marriage? Yes, it can cause it in the marriage.
It's one of the major problems. Another thing I want to say, is it proper for one to pray before he has sex with his wife or with his husband? To pray?
Yes. Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Do you also pray?
Not all the time, but sometimes. Sometimes, maybe in your heart, you can pray in your heart. If it comes as like, if it's not planned, pray in your heart.
I'm just asking questions because I'm downloading what you're saying now. You say sometimes. How do you pray? Sometimes when you have the space to pray?
I pray over the bed. To say, this is my marital bed.
Okay.
It's going to be me and my husband on this bed. Nobody else is going to be on this bed with us. We plead the blood of Jesus over that bed.
Over the bed.
And over ourselves.
So sometimes you don't have the time to bleed the blood of Jesus over the bed.
Yes.
When there's a hit and run.
Hallelujah. You want to say something? You know, look at it. If husband and wife sit at home, both of them, they talk about these things, they laugh. That marriage is becoming strong. You talk about these things we're talking about here, and you talk about it. You explain to your wife, this is what I want. Your wife told you, this is how I want it. The marriage will be stronger. And another thing that I want to put it, you want to say something? Yes, let me allow you before I go to another one.
Let's say like we've been married, maybe newlyweds, we've been married maybe for, I'm sorry for asking this question.
Please, every question is not a sorry question, it's very necessary.
And then because we are Christians, we want to be
pretending,
doing the same style over and over again. And then me as a wife, I feel like I don't like this style. I'd like to pursue other avenues.
Hallelujah. This is exactly the part we're going to deal with all those parts.
So my question is, when I introduce this other style
method,
or whatever method
yes,
to my husband now, is it not going to be a conflict? That where did you get it? Yes, that's question.
That's where we're going.
Where
God bless you. God bless you. Hallelujah. When it comes to body, the Bible says in that book, same book we're talking about, it said your body belongs to your husband. So also the husband body belongs to the wife. The whole body. That's what it means. It said when you are fasting or you are praying, do not do it so long so that you are not tempted, so that you don't fall into sin. Because you may not have sex with somebody and you are fasting, but your heart is towards those things because you're a married person. You have destroyed your what is it called? The fasting. Are you ready now? So when it comes to style or how many times in the way should a couple have sex, how many times or timetable, all those stories, it is not what I can borrow you my own time table. Neither can you borrow me your own timetable. But what happened there is all about communication. If husband understand his wife, This one is not active when it comes to sex. Husband is the one who is active when it comes to sex. It happens at home. You see, one is more active than another. It can only be, oh, he's the only one acting for sex, but this one never asks for sex. You must be able to know who really needed this most, who is hyperactive when it comes to sex. If the two couple understand that, it's a starting point. Are you ready now? So once you understand it, you must be able to know, fine, this man who is active in sex than me, I need to do what? To do what? To give him. Because if you deny him, that may be his falling. You give it to him, but based on your agreement. And the agreement will only come when you are relating well. So that may not have timetable. So also when it comes to how do you do it, style, it is based on the things you both decide. Watching pornography as a Christian to have sex is a destructive method. Because watching another person having sex and you are looking at it, it has destroyed you already. Because there is a spirit when husband and wife have sex. Are you ready? When they have sex, there is a spirit that is there. Because there is a spirit, is a communion between husband and wife. And if they are doing it in money issue and you are watching those people who are, the devil has taken ownership of their heart, there is no how that spirit will not affect you. So we don't watch pornography. You see some pastor preaching sometimes ago, they say home alone. They say home alone. What's the meaning of home alone? I mean, you and your wife watching the pornography and they say home alone. It's rubbish. It is never done. It's not a good thing. It can cost you a lot of things. It can invite, what is it called? Spiritual husband and all those things. If you're thinking that when you watch a pornography, you are moved to have sex, there's a trouble. There's a trouble that needed to be dealt with. It could be spiritual trouble you need to be prayed for, to be delivered from those things. Maybe there is a spiritual husband there. Are you hearing me now? But if there is a cordial relationship between you and your wife, you don't need to watch any pornography before you arose and you are touching your husband, I mean touching your wife. Now when it comes to the issue of style, is an agreement. You may be saying, this is the style I want, whether you like it or not. You are forcing it now. It can be painful to another. And it can destroy your wife or the husband. If it is the style, you try this style, you both agree on it. It's your marriage. It's your marriage secret. When it comes to that, you don't discuss it with your friend. My friend, come here. This is how my husband has sex with me. You are in trouble, and you listen to it. I've seen a situation where it happened to a woman. We were staying in the house there. Are you hearing me now? The woman was brought to me by another woman. She was actually pregnant at that time. She said, my husband ran away from me. And the Lord showed me immediately what causes this. I've discussed this before. She went into a tea room at work. The tea room where the ladies always meet. And they were chatting based on the issue of sex, style. They were discussing. And the friend she was also discussing with was one of the ex-girlfriend of the husband. Which the lady did not disclose, but the husband is aware. You understand now? Before they get married, the husband knows, but this lady never discloses the husband. But because this woman mentioned the way this man is having sex with her, and this is a woman who is lonely, she looked for every means to get that man with charm. This man left the house from house to work. She never returned for 2 months. She was taken captive by that woman. Which, when they come to work, my husband is not at home. He doesn't come back home. When she goes to her husband's working place, she find the husband there, but the husband is not coming home. We prayed together, and the Lord released that man. And when the man came back, he was accusing the woman, why do you allow me to go? What happened? In order for you to understand that there is a diabolic thing that the woman has used. Just why? Because the woman discussed their marital affair relating to sex, and that woman wanted it. So it is not something we discuss at home, neither at working place or even tell a friend. It must be an agreement between you. In as much you decided a style, it is very, it depends on how the men approach the woman, how do you normally treat your wife. She may have an idea of what you can do to her that will make her happy, but if you look at the way you treat her when it comes to the issue of sex, the woman will deny you, won't say that. Because if you look at you, maybe you will be saying, maybe I'm doing it somewhere, or where did you learn these things, how did you come about these things, have you, you know, the woman will not talk about it. But if there is a transparency in that relationship, and you trust your wife, your husband trusts you, you can suggest, let's try this, let's try this, let's try this, and you realize it's not hurting you and it's fine, it becomes your idea. You understand? It becomes what you're using. You are exploring. Sex is about exploring one another. It makes you to bond together. It heals your soul. It bonds you together. That's what sex does. And God, who put it there, does not put it there because of one reason. He put it there for us to be united together. Are you ready now? For us to be united together the more. So the devil must not take us away from that, and we mustn't deny ourselves what is possessed. Hallelujah. You want to say something? Hey, let's give it away first.
Just to add, Pastor, what you are talking about, another area of communication where we knew that my wife, she's active, and then suddenly she shut down. She shut down. And then if she cannot able to explain to me that, look, I'm having 1, 2, 3 things that I'm going through, and that which makes me to be a little bit distant.
Yes.
And if that is not well communicated, it also causes
problem.
Because
yes.
you don't know. If I'm the one maybe who's tired or maybe stressed up about something that I'm not coming right, and I'm not talking about it, and I used to be an active person.
So now you are beginning
and
to...
I'm not telling her that, look, I'm having a problem of one. This is the problem why I'm distant into this. And because we know each other, like you were saying, who's active, who's not active. And suddenly, the one that was more active, the person is starting to be distant, and there was no communication. It's a problem again. So it's those areas of communication is
so we need to deal with.
We need to deal with it. You understand, okay, my partner, but before, you must be understood. Bring the matter to the table.
God bless you. You want to say something?
Yes, I want to say something similar to what you
Yes, let's hear you.
Because of course, like, you find that you are active also, and then the thing is, now when you grow up, your body started to change. As we grow up, your
Yes,
body
I know.
started to change, and you get menopause. When you start getting those menopause, your body is changing. You are not more active like that. Sometimes you just feel like, no, I don't want to do this. It doesn't come anymore like you used
Before.
to. Yes. So I don't know, because of, and it's when you grow up.
The issue of menopause, when you talk about menopause, as we grow up, that it can either, not to everybody. I've seen some elderly ones who have grown up, that is the time they become very active, very serious one. So it is not, it's not always. It's not always. You understand me now? It's not always. It's not always. It's just a few. It's just a few. And again, when it comes to the issue of sex, if you are actually bonding together all the times, you'll be creative in your ideas. It's not always sex. At times it can be romance, but you are actually relating well. You understand me now? That's it. Any other thing about sex? Any other questions? Yes. Before we move to another topic, yes. It is very wrong. Norma, remove Norma out of that. Yeah, I was thinking that somebody should ask me why do I say that. Because meaning you have this 12 times a year. It's abnormal. It's wickedness. So are you fasting? Is the person now fasting? Oh. You know, that is it. It is
The
not.
men will say I'm tired, but when you're right in the house, you can see this with the WhatsApp date.
It's not tired. We need this is it's not about, it's now about communication. About communication. You know, one thing I want us to learn from this: know your spouse. Know them. know them. She brought out a question there. Don't just jump from your cell phone when you see the wife in the bedroom and you go there and say, oh yeah, let's start now. No. There must be, is it what you call it? Touchy, there must be cuddle, there's a lot of things you have to do before you just get into that. Do you understand me now? So if there is no good communication right from the beginning, you will see that somebody is tired. You are tired today. Monday you are tired, Tuesday you are tired, Wednesday you are fasting, Thursday you are tired, Saturday.
Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Mama Shalom. I stay in this. I have learned a lot today about the marriages. When it comes to financial or in everything, we have to put God first. In our marriage, we have to put God first. Whatever we decide to do, we have to discuss with your husband. Okay, the highlights of the men are the head of the house. Us as women, we are helpers. We have to listen to the husband. We don't have to go over them. My encouragement to those who are not here today, we have to put God first in everything we do. And we have to sit down and discuss with your husband. You know your husband, you know your wife, you've been together for a long time. So you have to sit down and discuss without any compromise.
My name is Privilege. I come from Atco Street, West Avenue, Gezina.
Good morning, sister. Can you please tell us the message you learned actually in the seminar?
I learned a lot today. I learned about our marriages. I learned how also to trust our men, like our husbands. Trust God, trust our husbands, and we must always be faithful and tell the truth. Whatever we are planning, whatever we don't like about how things are being done in our marriage, we have to come front, tell the truth, be faithful to one another, and solve the story. The message that I'm taking home now is I'm gonna change, especially in my marriage. I'm gonna change, I'm gonna say everything that I don't like when it's happening in my marriage. And I'm also going to change in many type of things like being faithful in words, and also learn to respect my husband in talking, in communicating, because that was my problem. Communication, I always do everything in anger, I always do everything no respect, but now I learn to respect him, find a way to talk to him in a nice way. My advice to my fellow women is we should learn to trust our husbands no matter what. In tears, in happiness, we should learn to trust them. We must not listen to our friends outside the marriage, because if we listen to the third part, it's going to destroy our marriage. So we have to stick to God's word. We must respect our husbands. We must learn to talk to each other, not to take the marriage stuff, marriage talks inside the house, to take it to the friend outside the home. It's going to destroy our marriage. So we should like